Alyssa Thomas, that's what she does. She uses her body.
I will be out Sunday, but I'm feeling a lot better, excited to get back into practice today, and then feeling really, really positive about getting back into one of the games at the back-to-back. Obviously, difficult coming back in a back-to-back.
If the NBA is going to review calls, you're saying the WNBA can review calls and act retroactively.
There are moments when the loudest voice in sports media stops holding back and says exactly what needs to be said. On June 24, 2026, during an Indiana Fever versus Phoenix Mercury game, something happened in the second quarter that ignited major controversy. With a loose ball on the floor, Alyssa Thomas drove her closed fist directly into Caitlin Clark's throat, while Clark was on the ground and completely defenseless, the ball already long gone. Thomas simply stepped over her. No foul was called. Clark left the game in the third quarter with a back injury and never returned. And Stephen A. Smith had plenty to say about every single bit of it.
It's like a duck and it quacks like a duck and ain't a damn mongoose. I've said that many, many times over the years. There is a flagrant level of resentment that exists when it comes to Caitlin Clark. And it has existed since she has arrived in the league. She is the cash cow.
He acknowledged that Caitlin Clark is no passive victim, but Smith drew the distinction that matters most. Competing fiercely and driving a closed fist into someone's throat are two completely different things, not even remotely in the same conversation. Smith then invoked a historical parallel that everyone running the WNBA desperately needs to hear and absorb.
The level of physicality that obviously compromised her availability last season where she missed a few games. There is a palpable resentment towards this girl where you have people who are resenting of her star power and her cachet. And as a result, if they have an opportunity to go at her, they're going to take it.
And then came the sentence now echoing across every sports platform in America: do not get in the way of the cash cow. He continued with everything that followed it.
I believe there's been a failure on the part of some people to appreciate the mantra of a rising tide lifts all boats. Ride this cash cow till the wheels come off. They did it in the NBA with Magic Johnson. They did it ultimately with Michael Jordan. You know, that's how you do this. You find somebody that just galvanizes folks and ingratiates themselves with the public at large in such a way where everywhere they go and whatever they do, everybody wants to watch.
Smith then pointed the finger directly at the entire WNBA ecosystem. He praised Stephanie White for her response while highlighting the glaring and inexcusable failure of the officiating. 2 points of contact on a completely defenseless player with an official standing right there on the baseline, and yet zero call, zero whistle, and zero consequence in the moment. Clark left the game in the third quarter with a back injury and never returned. Stephanie White stepped to the podium after the game and said everything that needed to be said without hesitation.
Aware of what happened 2 nights ago? And that still happens?
What?
Absolutely unacceptable.
No, she didn't, dude.
Absolutely
she just
unacceptable.
cursed?
And the reckless closeout that they actually reviewed, and the foot still comes down on top of the defender's foot that wasn't upgraded? Absolutely disrespectful.
The day after the game, the WNBA retroactively upgraded the play to a flagrant 2 foul and handed Alyssa Thomas a 1-game suspension along with a $1,000 fine for recklessly making contact with her closed fist to the throat area of Indiana. Fever guard Caitlin Clark, officially classifying it as a non-basketball act, Thomas served that suspension on Saturday.
NBA is putting itself well in the category of the WWE, where you don't really talk about the games, you talk about all the stupid stuff that's surrounded. They're also trying to make Alyssa Thompson a victim for the throat punch heard around the world of Caitlin Clark.
Mercury head coach Nate Tibbetts did not accept the decision quietly or gracefully. In a statement delivered before Thomas served her suspension, he spent nearly 3 full minutes defending his player, insisting Thomas was not cheap, calling Stephanie White's comments about cheap shots completely out of line, and claiming the suspension was based on social media screenshots rather than any thorough or fair investigation. He also alleged the league never once spoke to him, Thomas, or their security team before announcing the punishment publicly.
My disappointment with the suspension process by our league and our leaders in the W. This was not a thorough investigation, in my opinion. The people involved were not questioned at all. It's extremely disappointing No one from the league called AT, our security team, or myself about what we felt like happened in this situation. There is a protocol to be followed. Just coming from the NBA, there's been many investigations that I've heard about that there was calls on both sides. And that was not done in this situation, and that's disappointing.
Then on Tuesday, June 30th, Alyssa Thomas spoke publicly for the first time. She called the play a complete accident, saying she had absolutely no idea what had actually happened until after the game was already over. Thomas also disclosed that she and her teammates had received death threats and racial slurs in the aftermath of the incident. She then went directly after WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert without hesitation.
At the end of the day, it's basketball. Basketball is meant to be physical. Like I said, I didn't even know that play happened. If you watch the clip back, no one in the stands, their bench knew that it happened.
Thomas called a closed fist to the throat of a defenseless player a complete accident and offered zero accountability for the play itself. She positioned herself as the central victim of a story that began with Clark on the ground, a fist in her throat, and a referee standing directly there doing absolutely nothing. Both things can simultaneously be true. The WNBA must protect all its players from threats and harassment without exception. And the WNBA must also refuse to allow a fist driven into someone's throat to be brushed off and casually dismissed as a simple basketball accident.
Now we're being painted as thugs and there's death threats out on us. So it's really unacceptable. It's something that needs to change in this league, and I'm just really sick and tired of it.
The fans did not debate this. The moment Smith's words spread across social media, the reactions came flooding in without pause. One fan wrote that Clark was indirectly forcing the WNBA to become something it never truly wanted to be, an actual functioning business capable of generating its own substantial revenue, while another pointed out the sheer absurdity of bringing record viewership to a league that has profited enormously from her presence and still allowing her to be treated this way. Arenas were filling up just to watch her play, and fans made it unmistakably clear they felt Clark deserved to be treated with the highest possible level of respect and protection. One post warned that an opportunity like this does not come twice, while another fan continued the thought further.
With there's a lot of rhetoric behind her that she really has no control over, and I think that the way she handles that is just amazing. Like, I think when it comes to the game of basketball, like, she's probably top 5 most famous people that are playing right now, just in general. That includes our league as well.
The refereeing is completely out of control in the WNBA, and if they are not careful, one of their absolute best and most valuable superstars could end up seriously and permanently hurt. Another fan offered a perspective that said everything about what is truly at stake. Admitting honestly they do not watch much WNBA basketball, but tuned in specifically for this game and could not believe what they were witnessing, asking whether this kind of treatment was simply normal for Clark, a brand new viewer. And their very first impression of the entire league was a closed fist driven into the throat of its biggest and most important star.
The referees, the officials completely missed the call. Because this happened to Caitlin Clark, and we're in this mode where every time Caitlin Clark is fouled, anytime anybody breathes on her, it brings out the hottest, the most scorching of takes. So in Boomer Esiason's mind is that Caitlin Clark is straight and white and therefore deserves a little bit more respect. And what he said was racist.
Stephen A. Smith was not alone in his outrage. Not even close. WNBA legend Lisa Leslie appeared on CBS Sports, We Need to Talk, and did not mince a single word about what she saw and what she thought about it.
Not surprised that the league went back and fined Alyssa Thomas, but I think at the same time, it's tough to think that official would have missed that they didn't have a replay on it. That was tough to me. And I think overall, the league's got to do better. The officials have got to do better, but also players. Players have to clean it.
And then on the specific matter of Thomas walking away without saying a single word to Clark after the incident.
In this particular situation, I thought that the last official should have been able to catch that. I was actually watching this game and I was like, oh, wow, that was a bit much. So in that moment, I thought that the official missed the call. I'm not surprised that the league went back and fined Alyssa Thomas.
Cunningham had been fined by the league previously for speaking out about officiating, and she said it again anyway without flinching. Two-time Super Bowl champion LaShawn McCoy appeared on Speakeasy and went directly at the historical parallel with uncomfortable directness.
When Michael Jordan was the man, the NBA made sure, all right, we can't be doing the Pistons. Y'all can't be doing it to him no more. Give me another star, LeBron. Right? They made this whole big thing about him going to different teams, all that. It's the king. Let's put that shit underneath the rug. So when you got a star player like that, I go even better. Quarterbacks in the NFL, they hurt Tom Brady's knee. From now on, no more. You can't tie the quarterback by their knees. That's dead. Bro, if you don't take care of the young GOAT, what the hell is going to happen to the WNBA?
Outkick's John Rook posted that it was absolutely insane how the WNBA was allowing the most important, influential, and popular player in league history to be treated like garbage, adding directly that Caitlin Clark deserved significantly better than what she was currently receiving from the league that needs her most.
Think about it, y'all. I mean, we're dealing with imperfect people. I mean, and, when you look at it, they don't know the value that she's bringing for all of them. She bringing, they flying private planes now. They went flying private before she came. They on major networks now. They weren't doing that. See, she remind me of Tiger Woods for golf.
Yes.
He changed
A player who sells out arenas everywhere she goes, drives the biggest television audiences in the league's recent history, and has brought millions of completely new eyes to a sport that desperately needed them to survive and grow. And on June 24th, 2026, that same player had a fist driven into her throat on national television, while a referee stood right there and did absolutely nothing about it. The league's formal response was a 1-game suspension and a $1,000 fine. The offending player's coach dismissed the entire decision as one based on social media screenshots, and the offending player herself called it a complete and total accident.
I do think that there is a thing called pretty privilege. There is a thing called white privilege. There is a thing called tall privilege. And we have to acknowledge that. And so the part of it is about race, because if you think about the Brittany Griners of the world, why did she have to go to play in Russia?
They wouldn't pay her.
Because they wouldn't pay her.
Because they wouldn't pay her.
And we have grown-ass men and women out here doing whatever they can to try to make sure that does not happen. That is the weirdest thing in the world, but it is what it is, and I'm glad that Caitlin has...
Stephen A. Smith did not call anyone a dirty player, and said so himself clearly and directly. But he did say what the numbers and the reality of the situation demand that everyone acknowledge openly. You do not get in the way of the cash cow. You do not allow resentment to compromise the player who is carrying your entire league on her back through sheer star power and drawing ability. You ride that wave, you build everything around it, and you protect it with everything you have. Because if that wave breaks, if Caitlin Clark's back injury lingers and becomes something more serious, if she decides the WNBA simply does not deserve what she uniquely brings to it, this league will not get another moment like this one. Not in a decade, maybe not ever. Stephen A. Smith made it crystal clear that the WNBA must start reviewing plays and handing down appropriate and proportionate punishment exactly the way the NBA does without exception. A 1-game suspension and a $1,000 fine after a fist to the throat of its biggest star. Is that appropriate punishment? Is that genuinely how you protect your cash cow? Is that truly how you honor the wave that Caitlin Clark created and continues to sustain entirely on her own?